On the night that Jesus was betrayed, he shared in the traditional Passover meal with his followers and disciples that were there. This was a meal that was a reminder of the Exodus, is a meal that had been passed down for generations and generations. These men would have been extremely familiar with these circumstances. It was a reminder of how God had brought them out of slavery, brought salvation from them from out of slavery, but also there was a lot of it pointing towards the coming Messiah. And as Jesus sat down and shared that meal with them, he said some kind of confusing words, maybe words that they didn't understand, and words that were of a telling of Jesus being the culmination of this Passover. He says in Matthew, it says, now as they were eating, Jesus took bread, and after blessing it, he broke it and he gave it to the disciples and said, take, eat. This is my body. And he took a cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, and saying, drink of it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will not drink again of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom. And as Jesus said these words, the disciples and the followers of Jesus had had a pretty eventful week. A few days before, Jesus was brought into Jerusalem with shouts of triumph, shouts of Hosanna, shouts of Jesus being the king. Thousands of people came in and presented him as a king. I'm sure these followers of Jesus were looking towards this and saying, this is the time. This is the time where Jesus will restore Jerusalem and will be the king that will sit on David's throne and will be the culmination of a whole brand new kingdom. We can't wait. And that would be the case, but maybe just not the way that they expected or thought. However, God's plans are not thwarted, and he is sovereign, and his plans are good and true. In the next 24 hours after this meal that they would share, there would be chaos and turmoil and trouble and confusion as they would watch their king be arrested, tortured, crucified, and then buried in a grave, dead. These men probably looked at this and were more confused. Yet Jesus' words of comfort still rang true, that his blood would be the covenant for many for the forgiveness of sins. As they would look to this event of this crucifixion much later, they would probably understand these words and look to that. Yet at the time, they still lived in that confusion, in that trial, and that just desolation of their king being dead. And we live in a similar experience and time where we see chaos and turmoil and trial and struggle and desolation. Yet God's words still ring true, and there's still a comfort to us that he is a good God and that he is a sovereign God. He is in control of everything, and he is working all things for his glory and for our good. As we present this song to you today, we remember God's comforting word, Christ's comforting words in here. The song is a rendition of these words. This bread is my body broken for you. This cup is my blood poured out for a covenant for the forgiveness of sins. And that he won't drink of this cup again, of the fruit of the vine, until the kingdom. And we have hope as believers that we look towards his kingdom. And as we share this next song, a special thanks to Addie Olsen, who will be joining us on cello, presenting this. And we hope you are blessed. We hope you enjoy it. And we hope you are comforted at this time of trial.
This bread is my body broken body.